Good evening. I think we can get started. We don't have too much, and she was a little ambivalent about coming, so she gets here. But this is a special joint meeting of the Recreation Commission and the Board of Selectmen. It's a special meeting of Wednesday, April 19th. I've been told this may be the first time we've had a joint meeting of Recreation and the Board of Selectmen, and I'm delighted to be sitting next to the Chairman of the Recreation Commission, Stan Gdansky. Our topic tonight is the pool at the Woodbridge Country Club. There have been some new reports about the pool that everybody has received. What's important is that the larger report is about both immediate and long-term improvements that need to be made to the pool. And our goal tonight is really to talk about opening the pool for this summer and what needs to be done for this summer. For the for the Recreation Commission members who don't know this, and there's some update here for the Board of Selectmen as well, the Board of Selectmen had signed fund transfers, which we understood at the time were sufficient to open the pool for this summer. Sorry, we have a musical interlude. Hi, Andrea. We just got started. The Board of Finance was not inclined and did not sign those fund transfers, wanting to have some reassurance about the safety and security of the pool before opening it this summer. That resulted in this report, which again went beyond this summer, but I think will be very useful to the new boards of Selectmen and Finance as they decide whether or not they want to make a long-term investment in the pool. So at their most recent meeting, the Board of Finance did sign those funding transfers, as well as an additional one which would meet the requirements of the Silver Petroselli report for opening the pool this summer. They did it with the conditions that that our building inspector and our fire marshal sign off on the plans as provided here, and that we are assured that we can insure the premises given the reports. What's important to point out is that if we go ahead this summer, it will be without the kiddie pool because of the reported problems with the kiddie pool, and the small bathhouse will be closed, but it would contemplate using the clubhouse. So with respect to, maybe Tony, you could give us an update on the building inspector, fire marshal, insurance aspects of this. I think that would be helpful.
So they've been, sure, all parties, we've been reached out to the individual parties, and the insurance has received the reports, and the insurance is generally, it's not a coverage issue because we are covered for, let's take it between property and liability. We're covered for property loss, even if nothing is done in the report. I mean, if we still have the property coverage should something happen and we have a loss. So that's not an issue. The liability is more of the issue. We would still have the liability coverage. It's just could be more of a liability if you know of an issue and you don't correct it. Then perhaps if you don't. But we still have the coverage. So the insurance company is just looking at the report to see if they can make some suggestions on things that maybe are more problematic than others to fix. And so we hope to get that shortly.
Would that have can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Sorry. Would
Sure.
that have an impact perhaps on rates or?
No, this is a
Not at
service
all.
that they'll provide for us
No
as
matter
part
what,
of
they
our.
just know, okay.
As part
They
of our
wouldn't add an
coverage.
addendum to our coverage?
No, it's
charge
just
us
a
more?
service they provide
Okay.
as part of our coverage.
Okay.
And they do with other buildings, with playgrounds, with all sorts of town buildings. We have assessed on a regular basis to make sure that if there's something we haven't seen, that's something their experts can pick up on.
Okay.
So that's the insurance part of it. I've spoken to the building official several times on this, and he is currently doing a review and hopes to have that to us as soon as possible, including some ways to solve some of the problems that were brought up by Silver Petroselli, and perhaps a different way to look at it to accomplish the same goal and perhaps not spend as much. So he's being very helpful on that, and we hope to have that shortly.
Right.
The fire marshal has already opined on the clubhouse, as
Right.
you've all seen. And so there's not really much for the fire marshal to look into. But we'll make sure that he doesn't have any questions.
So Tony, it's just a little unclear from what you said. So the insurance company and the building inspector, when you say they're going to come back to
They're going to
us,
provide written reports.
but they understand that we have an issue of this summer
Yes.
versus
Yes.
an unknown
Clearly.
future.
Yes, I've made
Okay.
that clear to
All
them.
right, so the
To both
focus
is this summer.
is this summer.
Yes,
Good.
for both parties, the focus is this summer.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? In light of the finance committee's issue with insurance coverage, has a lawyer examined the policy and determined that there are no exclusions in the policy that, in light of the reports that have been received, would affect coverage under the policy?
So that's part of their analysis. We have a broker that has a lawyer on, so that's part of their report
So
back to
they'll
us.
opine on that,
Yeah,
okay.
and what I told you was just someone who's been in the field for 30 years, her initial reaction to it. But they're
Yeah,
going to just
I
make
understand.
sure. She said there are certain things in your policy that, like as you indicate, could exclude coverage. But so she just wants to make sure there's nothing that would exclude coverage here. But she
Okay.
didn't seem to think so.
Any indication as to when we might receive the full report back, when they'll have a chance to review those issues?
I told her that we needed it yesterday. So
We'll have it yesterday,
they're working on it very.
So as a
In the
suggestion-
meantime, there are still other things that we could do to proceed and move this whole thing along that we've talked about that are more timing issues and not necessarily committing us to a lot of dollars.
Right.
So to that point, as soon as we get that report, can I ask our esteemed town council would take a look at it immediately to see if there's any changes they're suggesting or
Sure.
absolutely
Mhm.
before we meet again or whatever.
Okay. Any other questions about that or about the report, Bob?
Yes. First of all, thank you. The email that I sent on Thursday, I was really pleased when the report came back Monday when the Board of Finance looked at it. They'd actually done exactly as you explained, Alan. They looked at the short-term situation. I was very pleased with the way they looked at that. As far as the kiddie pool is concerned, obviously our plan is to move forward with or without it. Obviously, right now it looks like without. I had spoken to Dwight Rowland, and one of the things that he mentioned to me is Silver Petrocelli and they put it in the report that they're not structural engineers. And even as we're cleared to go forward, should we have someone look at that and see, I had a chance this afternoon to go over to the country club and find my way to that area to look at it, and I see the area where there's some dirt missing under the
This is not good news because nobody should be able to find
Right.
their way over there.
Yeah, okay.
So I
Well,
think
the other good news is I did throw someone off the golf course who let me know how they
Good job.
felt about me throwing them off the golf course. Okay, quite candidly they did. But they said, no, I'm not bothering anyone. I said, well, guess what? You're going to need to leave. So anyway, if we could actually have that looked at, because if that's less of an issue, because I mean, I'm not obviously a structural engineer. If somehow we could bring that into the fold, great. If not, obviously we're planning on operating without
You're
it.
talking about the is it called subsidence or something
Right.
around the kiddie pool, or
Right.
so that's what you want to look
So on
at?
the one side, you can
Okay.
see where some of the dirt is eroded on that side.
You see the
Bob, I gotta
picture.
tell you, if you're gonna complicate it, no, I'm serious. We are on such a tight schedule here. I sort of feel like these conditions are clear, and I get what you're saying, but if we're trying to move this forward, you could well muddy the waters. I'm just
That's
saying that.
what I'm saying is we move forward with everything else we're doing.
Yeah.
If on the side someone could actually look at that separate from everything else that's happening,
For this summer.
if possible.
Sure.
Right.
So let me suggest this.
Yeah.
I don't think that's something that anyone has to vote on or commit to
Right.
tonight. I don't think it's
Okay.
Right.
unreasonable
No.
to keep that in abeyance. Should we find free time and the opportunity to spend more time on the pool?
Right.
No, but it's and have another
No, but
joint
our
joint
plan-
meeting.
No,
Yeah.
no.
No, of course we'd rather have the kiddie
Right.
pool, of course.
Right.
And if it works out, great. I think it's a good suggestion to keep an open mind about it, which is I think what you're saying. Are there other questions? I know that Maria and Tony, you thought maybe you wanted to ask the Recreation Commission
Well,
something?
I think I was at the Board of Finance meeting as well, and most of us were. And I think a lot of the questions might have been answered there, and maybe so it's good that we met tonight. I think obviously the question that Ellen presented at the beginning, I'm waiting to hear, are you fine with operating the pool without the kiddie pool and without using the small bathhouse? Have we come to, has recreation come to that kind of conclusion?
I'm sorry, could I get, whoever's got phones on, it's very distracting. So turn them off, if you could. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I guess I'll answer the second question first, unless the other recreation members.
Well, I just want to point out that since the finance committee meeting, the recreation board has not met
Right.
as a board. So I don't think there can be a opinion from the recreation commission until I mean, here we can meet.
Yeah,
we
so
can
I'm
make
looking for
opinions.
Form 1 here.
I'm just saying, if
Yeah.
you're saying, but there's not an opinion
Right.
already in
Prejudged,
place.
fine.
We
So
haven't
that's what I'm
discussed.
waiting to hear.
Okay.
Individually, we could give and actually we could, because we're in a group, we do have a quorum, we
Yeah,
could
yeah,
actually,
yeah.
we could vote on an opinion on that.
Yeah, I agree. I just wanted to.
Yeah. My opinion as a member of the commission would be, as far as the bathhouse is concerned, that's a non-issue, okay? The clubhouse certainly meets our needs, and the bathhouse is really kind of a quick run-in. You know, if you want to go to the bathroom, it's really not that nice anyway. I don't think that that's an issue in terms of, from my perspective. The kiddie pool, you know, I don't know really at this point how that may impact the membership or whatever. It may, but you know, that's really as soon as we have final approval here, we obviously had 121 memberships of people who emailed back saying that they were planning on signing up. We will immediately upon approval say time to register, okay, and start taking deposits. I asked Jim Franco today if there was any way with Rec Track if we could take deposits and then build on the rest at the beginning of the season, because people have a tendency, they want to pay just before the season starts because they don't want their credit card hit, and he's struggling with that a little bit. I know I asked him to check with the people who train him on that, but
So can I make a suggestion? I mean, we'd like to hear from
Yeah.
all of you, but if what you're saying is you don't know yet, if Rec thinks we should go ahead without the kiddie pool, if that's it, we need to set a date. You know, we're not going to spend any money or proceed if you're thinking you don't want to.
my gut is that the kiddie pool is not going to be an issue for the situation, but we haven't heard from members to say that they have. You know, we haven't. I asked Jim today if he got any emails from the members or whatever in relation to everything. He's got a few along the way in terms of responses, but nothing to this point in
Do you have
terms
a
of
meeting
issue.
scheduled?
Our
At any
next
point?
meeting is actually
No,
Yes,
Bob's
we-
talking about holding the
Right.
potential membership.
Right.
Oh,
No, the
okay.
Recreation Commission
Not
is
the,
vote tonight.
right.
Well, that's what I
Got
meant.
it, got it,
That's
got
what
it.
I meant when I said.
Bob, I think the issue for you
Okay.
is, are you willing
Got
to
it.
say you're gonna
Okay.
go ahead
Thank
without the kiddie pool, regardless of what the membership turns out to be? I mean,
Yes,
that's what
yes,
That's the
yeah.
answer.
That's one issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's stick to that one.
That's the issue.
To have other members of the Recreation Commission.
So as a rec commissioner, I would say that we would go ahead. I mean, having that bathhouse is convenient for those who find it difficult to make it to the clubhouse, but they have in the past, and I think it's fine, safety first. And the same with the kiddie pool. It'd be great if it's running, but if not, I think we should proceed on
Okay.
and open the club.
That's clearer than.
Yeah.
Sorry about
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pennell?
Well, I mean, there's two issues that are brought up by the absence of the kiddie pool, which it's hard for me to answer without people that actually run pools to tell me. One is, what's the impact on membership going to be? If we're willing to accept that there may be an impact and it'll be what it is, and we may end up not getting the membership we have, then I don't have a problem. The second is, I think an understanding of the kiddie pool is that we have a no diaper rule in the pool for safety and hygiene reasons. I'm not sure once you get rid of the kiddie pool and don't give people the opportunity to go there, what impact that has. Again, it'd be nice to have someone that actually runs a pool.
Needs greater surveillance on the grown-up pool, is that?
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
needs greater surveillance. So, you know, and those are the two issues.
We're just, you know, the time pressure is not coming from us on the Board of Selectmen. It's like we have gotten the message that the Recreation Commission is very interested in going ahead with the pool this summer. We've done everything we can. We've scheduled meeting after meeting. We've expedited everything we can. So it's important, if you have second thoughts and you don't want to open the pool, tell us now, because
Speak now.
yeah.
Never hold your peace.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to. We're not going to know everything we'd like to know, as we would have. You know, Board of Finance asked some additional questions. They had concerns about safety. We have followed up on everything as expeditiously as possible. So I don't, Stan, did you want to add anything?
I'm just listening.
Okay.
I have a question. What's the sort of age group that uses the kiddie pool? Is it like 3 and down, 3 and below?
Gosh, do we have the numbers? I
Yeah,
would think so.
If they're in a diaper, they can't go in a regular pool.
So it's three
Well, that-
below, so if you're not
That could be
potty trained, you
75 and
should-
above too. I mean, I'm just, I'm trying to address the kiddie part of it. Okay,
I'm going
so
to 80.
toddlers.
Toddlers, 3
Yes.
below.
Got it. You could always put up a little
So
waiting.
you're not
That's
going
what
to
I'm
know
thinking.
whether it
Put up
affects
little
membership.
temporary waiting pools and, you know, say, look, here's the.
Wait, one at a time, one at a time.
You're not going to know whether this affects membership until the pool opens, whether
Right.
it's Memorial Day or you can't worry about that now.
Right.
If you want to go ahead with the pool, you've got to make a decision on the facts you know now. It may
Right.
or may not. You've got to say we're willing to go or we're not willing to go.
Correct.
I would say we're willing to go.
Right.
And I think that's a great suggestion. If the kiddie pool is
Right.
not open, can there be a small waiting pool and can it be,
Put up a couple of little waiting pools that
We
are
don't know
this
the
deep.
answer for
Yeah.
sure, but
Right.
one would think.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Yeah.
right, in terms of.
Yeah, I don't have a problem going as long as it's understood that there's an impact on membership
When do you-
with respect to
when
the
do you
kiddie pool. I mean, the other,
Oh,
I'll
wait.
stay away from other
Sorry.
issues, too ready for another issue.
Memorial Day weekend, right?
You open
That's not
Memorial
really
Day
open?
weekend?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Well, that's the goal.
Right,
Yes.
that's what I was just asking.
It's possible that won't
Possible
happen,
that won't happen,
but,
right.
you know, hopefully we'll be ready.
Well, that's the other issue. Is it, the elephant in the room, is it practically feasible, given the date it is today, the amount of work that has to be done, that that you can actually make a Memorial Day opening?
You gotta tell us that.
I think there's two pieces to that.
Well,
One is recreation, the other is the work that has to be done.
Uh-huh.
The point I'll make is back in February, we originally said that if we didn't have a decision on the pool by March 16th, it would be impractical to open it by Memorial Day. Now, we can change that.
That's not what we said. We said we need to revisit it on
Yeah.
March 16th
Fair
in terms
enough.
of our decision.
Fair enough.
So you have revisited that at least.
Yeah.
This is not gonna
Okay.
be a decision with the degree of certainty we all would like, or perhaps have had in the past. It just will not be. We're all, we have to go ahead in good faith. If we do, there's no question, there are risks to the opening date. There's a possibility that the conditions won't be met. That we'll know soon enough.
Yeah,
right?
within a few days, yeah.
It's my understanding from, correct me if I'm wrong, Tony, it is not impossible that the pool will be open May 31st, but it's not a sure thing. Is that a fair way to say it, or you think it is impossible?
I think the thing that would hold us up the most is the filter issue. So we're currently looking at there are several ways to handle that. Each way has benefits and drawbacks to it, costs and work required. And so we're looking at those in light of, a 1-year operation versus the long term. What's best for the long term? What might be best for the short term might not be best for the long term, but maybe that's what we do this year.
Right.
Understood.
You know,
Yeah.
I thought the backwash was the issue.
that's the issue.
Oh,
is the
that's, when you say
backwash.
filter,
Right.
it's the backwash.
Because the
Yeah.
one solution is to buy a filter that you don't need to
Oh,
backwash
so there's
the
an
water.
option. So the way I had understood it from the rec committee meetings, it was 6 weeks to do that. That's why.
That's correct. It could be 4 to 6 weeks to do that.
Yeah,
That's correct.
Yeah, that's why.
It would be tight.
So there's
But Tony's trying
other-
to see if there are other
There are other ways
solutions.
to do that without getting
would mean-
besides a filter.
Yeah, or
Change.
whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, the other piece of if we couldn't be open Memorial Day weekend, would there be assurance to the membership that the pool will open and will that be sooner than later? I think if people know that it's going to be open and if it can't be open Memorial Day weekend, as long as the community knows it's going to be open,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
quickly
We don't
would
forget.
that,
Right.
would we
That's a
know the
good
answer
point.
to that?
That's a good point.
Very good.
And then
Yeah.
we'd want to publicize that,
Right.
whether on the newsletter or some way, quickly to let people know.
Maybe tie it to when school's out, as opposed to Memorial Day.
June
Well, or
14th.
if it can open before
whatever,
school's out.
right.
Just-
If, but that's,
Yeah.
right.
Right, but
yeah.
that the community knows that
Right.
it is indeed going to be open, and we're still
Right,
working on an opening
right.
date.
So, without speaking for everybody here, I think there's a general sense that the Board of Selectmen has been trying to figure a way to get this pool open with the Recreation Commission and the Board of Finance. And obviously, we don't know the final answer on the insurance yet, and though we hope to hear that soon, I think we all have to tonight decide, are we moving forward? And I think it's pretty well understood that if we move forward, we do so knowing we may not get the amount of membership we had hoped for. There may be some effect based on the kiddie pool, bathhouse, and a possible delayed opening. But I think we have to know tonight that whatever decision we make knowing it may not be as, it may not take in as much revenue as we once hoped. And that's part of our decision, but I think we have to move forward tonight, or I'm not sure I'm even willing to go forward after that.
Well, after tonight, I think it's really too late. One thing that I would hope would keep membership up is the fact that the next boards that come into office in July will be making a decision over the next year about the long-term plans for the pool. And if people really love the pool the way they have told us, and that's the reason we've put so much time and effort into it, hopefully they'll stick with the pool this summer to show the support that would be required to make the very substantial investment in a long-term permanent
I like that
pool.
positive attitude.
I'm sorry?
I said I like that positive attitude.
Yeah, well,
Me
we'll see
too.
if it's there. If there's nothing else, the only action that we need to take tonight is the Board of Selectmen fund transfer of the one that originated with the Board of Finance to make up for the additional expenditures. And I just want to say that, well, maybe when we make the motion for it, we just want to be sure that it incorporates and respects the conditions of the Board of Finance.
Okay.
Is there anything else before we get to that?
Does Recreation have to vote?
Yeah,
on
don't
it?
you want-
No, that's only the Board of Selectmen that votes on
But
it.
would you like, I mean, probably shouldn't offer up stuff I shouldn't, but since we're committing ourselves to go forward with it, which is fine, which would, I mean, should we
If you'd like
commit
to,
ourselves
if you'd like
go
to take a
forward with
vote,
this
that would
thing?
be great.
I mean, I think that's
It's a good
only
idea.
fair
Sure.
to everybody. I mean, we've made it clear what the potential risks are.
Well, I would go a step further. I think it's important that you accept the limitations
Right.
Yeah, that's fair.
as that
Yes,
have been put out there,
Yeah.
so that it makes sense for us to
Yeah,
take the next step.
Great.
That's
So-
fair.
Right.
That's fine. That's yeah.
Okay. It's up to you. I can't.
Oh, so we need a
Help
motion.
you with
so
your-
I gotta craft a motion on the fly here. Who's secretary on for the rec piece of this? Or
Well, Jerry's taking the.
oh, Jerry taking it? All right, so I'll make a motion that rec will start moving forward with the opening of the pool, subject to the conditions in the report presented to the Board of Finance, with an attempt to have with a anticipated opening date of Memorial Day, subject to all the work that needs to get done. So we can clean that up a little bit, but
Can I make a suggestion? Even though
yeah, go for it.
It's a friendly
I
one.
think that
Yeah.
it should be subject to the addendum to pool condition and to your
I
point,
hear it,
to the requirements that were part of the Board of Finance motions and conditions, including not just the work at the pool, but also the approvals of the building official, the fire marshal, and that we're assured of insurance.
Yeah, I'm fine with
coverage.
that.
Okay, so I think everything should be
that's
subject to
cleaner.
that.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Can I just
Yeah,
to-
we're in discussion.
Right. Just to add that as soon as, as I said before, as soon as we know it's a go, that gets publicized to the community at large through
As many ways we can.
as many ways, right,
Yeah.
as
Yes.
can.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to
Good,
add.
good thought.
And you have, I assume, emails for all the people who
Right.
are interested
We
in
do.
being members, which is
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
very
And-
good way.
And that's something that could go through the town newsletter,
Yes.
the
Website.
website, the,
Yeah. Probably our job to go to people in the town and make sure that gets done.
Sure.
I mean, our hope is we'll be able to do an open house before to get other people. In terms of the discussion part, looking at the list of the items here, I see the $36,000 for the filtration system, and I think I heard the other night that that's the wrong number in here.
It's
26,
26, but there was some other, yes.
There was
it's
another
27.
10, I thought, on top of that.
There was another 11 that's not in here, so the total cost to the town is more than, Well, it's
Total
about
cost
61.
just did the calculation. 61,707. That includes the filter, the additional repairs on that list, the smoke detectors on the second floor, and the wet sprinkler system in the concession area.
We had
Those are the other
previous
items that were previously
appropriations
approved.
here, and the only new appropriation that came from the Board of Finance